All right, hello, and welcome to season 6, episode 2, in Nature's Edge. First time in a while that we've had a good old vertical painting. It's been I don't know when the last time was we had a vertical painting, but it has, I feel like it's been like a month or two. I don't feel like I've done a vertical painting in a while, which, like, honestly, I'm glad in some ways. You're eating Taco Bell before your interview? Ooh, I hope it's good. Let's see. I think before I get super into, I do it this way, right? It's been a while. Okay, yes. Because yeah, for these paintings, I literally like rotate my head for my TV, since I'm still looking at the game feed like how it's supposed to be seen. So it makes these vertical paintings like kind of weird. I hope the Taco Bell is what you need. I think high key today, I think I am just gonna do Mario Paint today. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else. I was originally going to do some MM, but I am finally working on something. I guess I can say what it is. I am working on the thumbnail illustration for the All Masks PBs on YouTube. And I'm like, well, because I still have to upload my current PB, and I think at this point I'm like, well, I'll just wait until I finish the illustration before I go through and upload that and all that. I think that's gonna be my game plan. I started working on it on Saturday, and then I did a bit of it. I didn't do too much, but I did like a tiny bit of work on it yesterday. I'd say it's like we're probably at like the 60% range of completion. The amount of it that's been completed. So I don't know, I just kind of want to get that done. I'm also high-key. I high-key need to get a haircut set up. I need to get that shit going, because I am tired of this. I'm just tired of it. It's not too long, but I am tired of this. It's just like I can't get it. Just looks like shit constantly. I can't do anything to make it look okay. It's just like annoying, and it's like really frizzy, and I'm like, ugh, get this out of here. I'm over it, but I've been way overdue. I've been way overdue for a haircut. Yeah, I don't know how, like, David, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he keeps his hair so long. How he's kept it so long for so long. Kept it so long for so long. What a sentence. It's true, he's kept it very long for a long time. I don't know if it bothers him at all. I don't know. I like a good midpoint for me. I like that good mid ground. I don't like it too crazy long on me, but I don't like it super short, like where you're verging on like a little bit above like you're verging like a bit above a buzz cut territory. Like that's too short. That's too short. I've never gotten a buzz cut specifically, but feel like sometimes the way like I've gotten it cut in the past, they would just cut it so it's like it's pretty short. And I'm like, I don't like that. Gotta have a bit of the bangs still, just a little something something. Yeah, for this all masks thumbnail illustration, I feel like the concept I landed on, thinking back on it right now, I think I could have maybe done a bit more with it, but I still think it's okay. I mean, hell, it's for a thumbnails at the end of the day, so it's like, are people really even gonna pay that much attention to it? It doesn't need to be super grand. I still like the glitchless 100% thumbnail that I did. I think I still like that one. I appreciate like the depth that one has. This one that I have right now, it doesn't really have that same amount of depth to it, but I think it'll be nice when it's done. I think it should still be good for a thumbnail for the purposes of a thumbnail. And also, sometimes for these vertical paintings, I don't even tilt my head sometimes. Like, I have not been tilting my head for this one very much. I should just use my reference painting on a side and just paint the entire thing sideways, which honestly would be a not terrible idea to do that. I think that would be a totally valid strat for this. My theory on reflective light in art, it's cool. Question mark. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say to that, honestly. I think reflected light is pretty cool. Once I start becoming more aware of reflected light and like bounce light, it's like, oh, you know, in recent times, I haven't really done much of like, well, that's a lie, actually. I've done a little bit of like more painter-esque things. Because sometimes when I draw, I'll just do cell shaded for the coloring to make it simpler, or just kind of do more basic rendering. I guess like once I don't know, I just kind of started like at some point in time being more aware of bounce light in real life. Like if like, oh, you're like, I don't know, like okay, I was literally gonna say a green towel and I coincidentally have a green towel on my desk right here. That was not what I was thinking, but it's like, oh, if I hold this like green towel below my hand, it's like, whoa, there's green being reflected on my hand. Crazy. I don't know. There's just some point in time where I started becoming more aware of like just those interactions, and I guess hopefully that has led to me thinking about that sort of stuff more in art and in choosing which colors to use where. But it's also tough. I don't know, art is difficult. So I guess, I don't know, being aware of what you're putting in your scene in a piece can be really helpful, and like just thinking about that, but also like just, you know, it's a lot easier to say and than it is to actually do said thing, because There's the whole thing with color where it's like, oh, you have to make sure the value of the color is correct. Since it's like, oh, if I'm using like this bright color and I want to like put some blue in there but have it still be bright, you have to like adjust the luminosity of it, since the blue hue makes it a darker tone by default, so you have to adjust that. So it's like super weird. Just when I've been doing, yeah, when I've been painting, I use Clip Studio when I've been painting in that. I'll try and keep a color, like a black, a fully black layer on the top that is set to the color layer style. So that way I can basically like click it on and off and like just see like the piece as just values to see how things like contrast and how like to see if I have like correct values. So it's like, oh, this should be like in shadow. Like, does this need to be darker on this side or whatever, or you know, etc., etc. Me currently looking at the thumbnail illustration that has not been shown yet. Yo, Zeta. Do you do much art, Boo, or is it kind of like more of a newer thing for you? Question mark. Curious. Okay. Yeah, so these trees far in the back, they exist. They exist around like the 1/3 mark ish, give or take. They're actually kind of like a little past it. They're like just slightly past the 1/3 mark. But I might like shift it up just slightly, or maybe make them smaller. Been drawing your whole life. Recently switched to Procreate though. Oh, nice. I've never used Procreate, but I know Procreate is very popular. People really like Procreate. It's like it's an iPad app, right? I don't think it's on like PC or anything. So I've never owned an iPad, but I know also, yeah, people love drawing on iPads. People love their iPads for drawing. Interestingly enough, I feel like these vertical paintings, I've done like these exact trees before where they're just like, I just get the thin brush and just draw like a bunch of straight lines. How goes it? It's going okay. I was getting annoyed earlier about how like, are y'all's houses dusty as fuck? Because I hate how dusty my house is. It's so annoying. I was like I was getting annoyed at that earlier today. I was like, ugh, I hate how dusty this house is. I've been considering maybe getting like at some point, I know I want one, but I don't know if I want to get it soon or not. To get a newer air purifier. I know that like should help like somewhat. That cleans pretty regularly, so nah, not really. So that's like the thing. Like I can like vacuum. Like I like take like the handle brush part of the vacuum and like I'll like vacuum like the top of my desk, and like the next day or like 2 days later, like there'll be like a layer of dust on it already. Sometimes the next day, and it's just like, why? It's so annoying. I don't know, like maybe I do need to go through like this room again, and like I need to clean the shit out of everything, top to bottom. I need to super dust everything. That's what I need to do. It's been a long time since I've like super cleaned this room, just because it's like it just takes like 3 hours. It takes so long to clean everything. Because I have like so many figurines and shit, which I need to, actually today's garbage day. And I should find a few things to throw out that I don't need anymore. Or see if there's anything that I'm like, okay, like what's something I can throw out? You spent a bit cleaning last night and you fell asleep immediately. Cleaning feels good. It's like satisfying to clean. It's just like getting into the mood. Maybe I'll try and do that this week actually, because I think I might kind of like chill this week on like streaming. Wait, I might stream a bit less this week. And I was saying, yeah, I want to call our hairdresser and get a haircut booked. And the thing is, like, she's only there, like, she's not there super late. I don't know, I forget like when she even like leaves exactly, but like she's definitely more of like a morning and like early afternoon schedule. And like that's downtown, so it's like usually my dad and I would go like on weekends together, but I like low-key might see about like just going during the week if she has any spots available and just like walking downtown. It'd be like a 40-minute walk to get there, and then like because it's downhill, so probably like an hour walk to get back home. So that's a thing. Yeah, I'm just like I'm over how messy my hair is and how like not good it looks right now. $12 for Procreate. It's just hype if it's like a one-time purchase. Shoutouts to being able to just buy something and not be like, oops, sorry. You have to use our subscription service. I hope you like this. Daily reminder that it's always morally correct to acquire Adobe products in a certain way. Just a reminder, it's always okay to do that. Good morning, Al. How's it going? Actually, might before I put that in, I might like extend this down a bit more. You know, I actually have I have this one digital painting I completed. Like I haven't worked on it in like 2 weeks or so. And I'm like, I should post that at some point, because I just like never posted it anywhere. And I'm like, I don't, at this point, I don't think I'm gonna work on it anymore, because I think I'm like pretty happy with where I got it. It was definitely one of those like, I'm just gonna like mess around and like just let my mind wander sort of things. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I didn't really have like much thoughts going into it. It was just like, okay, I'm just gonna do stuff and see what I come up with. See where my mind takes me. Also, for the first time in a minute today, I am using my... Is it on the camera? You might be able to see it. Oh, my chair's blocking it. I'm using my oil diffuser, my essential oil diffuser, for the first time in like... God. It's been like probably a year since I've used it. It's been a long time. I used to use it like all the time, and I haven't used it much lately. I haven't used it much. I mean, I haven't touched it in a long time. See my previous sentence where I said that I haven't used it in like a year probably. Savory oatmeal and coffee until you do housework. I hope that goes well. Yeah, I said earlier that I like low-key might not stream much this week, so maybe I should try and like get some cleaning done. Since I've been saying that I need to do some. Because I was saying earlier how dusty this house gets, and like, for example, like I know like there's just like some areas like on top of our kitchen cupboards that are dusty for sure, and it's like maybe it would help like if I like just clean those out. Because I know if I don't do it, it's never gonna get done. Y'all feel that? Like if you don't clean something, it's never gonna get done. Like, I feel like the responsibility shouldn't be put on me, but I put the responsibility on myself. Because yeah, otherwise it just will never get done. Otherwise, unfortunately. Because like yeah, our kitchen cupboards, they do not go like all the way to the top, all the way to the ceiling. So there's just like kitchen cupboard and then like top, and then there's like gap, and then it's like just like emptiness up here. And it's like there's probably so much dust built up there. Cause like I feel like I just notice stuff like when I stay like at like an Airbnb or someone else's house, like when I'm there for like, let's say I've been there for like 2 or 3 days, like I feel like I don't notice comparatively at home. I feel like I'll sometimes notice like little like specks of dust like building up on my glasses, but like I feel like I won't notice that when I'm like staying somewhere else, for example. So I'm like, okay, that's the thing, I guess. Yeah, I guess I know you. Yeah, you put that on yourself, Owl. Which, yeah, having a clean house does feel nice. It is a good feeling. Yeah, that is true, Justin. But I feel like even like when I stay at like Prax's place for a weekend or something, because before I got these glasses, like I didn't have a glasses case for my, or I didn't usually bring a glasses case with my previous frames, and like so I would just like, you know, when I would go to bed, I would just put them like on a table, and I feel like if I did that at home, I would notice like a bit of dust would build up on my glasses after like a day or two. But like I feel like at Prax, for example, I wouldn't notice that. 'Cause, yeah, Airbnbs, they definitely do. Like they have like cleaners that go ham. At least they're supposed to. I don't know, maybe some don't. Yeah, maybe I can ask my dad if we can throw out these old ass landline phones that are dusty as hell. Because, you know, it was like last week, I'm pretty sure, on stream, I talked about how he canceled the service that he was paying for, that he was basically a huge waste of money for a long time for our landline phones. So we don't have a home phone anymore. And those landline phones, they are so dusty. They are extremely dusty. And I'm like, okay, those things could super go. Those things can super go in the trash. Oh, Edge time. Also, if y'all remember, when I take the reference screenshot of the Bob Ross painting from the show, whenever there's a vertical painting, like the ending shot where it showed, excuse me, Jesus, where it shows like the painting for like the normal canvases, it's just like boom, the whole thing is in one shot. But for the vertical painting, so far they've always done it where like the camera starts at the top and then it like slowly pans down. So I have to like take the screenshot in like 2 different screenshots and then like stitch them together later. And the only issue with that is like the credits start scrolling over top the painting by the time it gets to the bottom part. And in previous episodes, usually the credits would disappear like a couple frames as it's fading to black. But for this painting, this like credit at the end, it just never went away. So it just stayed there until it faded to black. So I was like, I could edit this out. I could definitely edit this out, or I could just leave it in. And I just chose to leave it in because I was like, I don't think this is like worth spending time to cut this out. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's actually not too noticeable, but you can see like the foreground tree like on the right side, like it towards like the just below like the halfway point, like it's like kind of like cut. It's like a screen tear is happening, which is where the 2 screenshots, because it doesn't like line up perfectly, because I guess like the camera like shakes a little bit or like moves like not perfectly straight down, or the canvas isn't like perfectly vertical, blah 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 blah, whatever it could be. So many like little things that it could be. Alright, is it time? I think it's time. And what time is that, you might say? Well, it's cabin time. It's like 3 like different little sections all together. Kind of crazy. It's kind of interesting how, like, I'm just like thinking about like, the fact that like usually I would be turning my head a bunch for these paintings, but like I haven't been tilting my head at all. Like I've just been like looking at the reference and then being like, okay, got it. Kind of interesting. That's like the approach I'm taking for this right now. Interesting to be able to do that, I think. I will always say though, one thing with these vertical paintings that I feel like is just kind of like impossible to avoid is like, I don't know if I'm like technically even like remotely correct about this, but like it's like with like the CRT, like the pixels are kind of like, I think they're slightly more like, there's like some like horizontal like blur that occurs. So it's like when the painting slash capture card is like rotated on its side, all of that is like going up and down vertically for y'all instead of side to side. So like it kind of like looks like a slightly weird, I guess. At least I notice it, and I'm like, there's like kind of like nothing I can really do about this. Like it's just how it is. And I feel like that effect, it feels like more apparent sometimes on the capture card. I think maybe because like the little bit of like CRT screen, like blur and whatnot that goes on a CRT, like isn't present like it is on my TV. I don't know. It's like definitely not a topic I'm an expert in, that's for sure. I'm definitely not an expert on like that subject. Just in terms of like like CRT stuff. Definitely not my skill set of knowledge. There are some definitely like some like melee players and probably like definitely a lot of other speedrunners that have like so much knowledge on this like little like ins and outs of CRTs. But not I. Not I. Um... Yeah, I don't think it's like super apparent for most people, but it's definitely something I'd take note of. Like from any time a vertical painting is happening, I'm like, yep, that's the thing that's happening, and there's not really much I can do about it. I don't know what to do about it, or if there even is anything. I just kind of usually try not to think about it and be like, well, I guess it is what it is. And that's all there is to it. I'm just looking at like these roofs right now, and I'm thinking about how Bob Ross, how he would like, you know, get like He would get his like brown tone. He'd take like a little bit of white, maybe a little bit of blue, and like just kind of like slightly mix it together, but like leave it streaky, and then just like drag his knife across like the roof and be like, it just like does that for him. And he might put in like a couple of lines to get the effect of there being like individual boards that are placed up there. That's usually also something he would do. Always interesting. Always interesting. All right, we're on like the third and final part of this like cabin adventure. Just like that. BGQ set of cabins, yeah. Who knows what's going on in there? Alright, Ebo, good morning. Lazarus waiting room, which is an Isaac reference. It's all an Isaac reference. Always has been. How's it going? You know, Alvi know, Ebo, the other night I made a protein shake, and I made it with just like water, pretty much. I had like a little bit of salt and like some cinnamon. I feel like next time I wouldn't add the cinnamon, but I was like, I'm just gonna try something, see what happens. And I'm like, wow, this really does basically just taste like water. Crazy that my unflavored, unsweetened protein powder, when added to water, just tastes like water, basically. Which honestly isn't a terrible thing. I mean, it's nice when it like, ooh, it tastes like chocolate or whatever. Like, that's always cool. But like, the fact that it doesn't taste egregiously bad or anything is also kind of like a huge W. When I'm not using like almond milk, for example, because, you know, I think most people you would say, like, you know, if you're making like a protein shake, making it with milk is usually more desirable. That's usually what most people would do, or would prefer. Click it. Thank you. Jesus. I'm using some black here. That's definite. Sip of water. Nope, that's definite. I tried clicking on my following feed, and things just like moved all of a sudden? Question mark. Which thinking about it again, thinking about the illustration thumbnail for the all masks PB. I think once that's done, I might use that as like my split background for all masks. Like I'm thinking like, damn, how lit would it be like to use like a illustration per like category of that category. I think that could be cool. But the only thing about that is like, okay, what do I do if I end up with doing a category where I don't have one of those prepared? Then what? What's the plan? What's the backup in that situation? And that I have not thought of, so I hope this helps. But just a thought. Just a thought for like if I do want to go through and do something more, I guess, less bare bones feeling for layout stuff and have it be more like personalized feeling as a way, I guess, if I want to put it a certain way. It's been a long time for split background stuff. It's been a long time since I've used a, I don't know, like any kind of like really, how am I trying to word this? Like really specific, like standout illustration. Because for a long time I used that one like rainy background picture that I took, which is pretty like neutral. Like my split backgrounds have always been like really like neutral feeling. But if I do go through and end up using that as like a background, I would definitely like, I would have it be like pretty like darkened / like blurred, like a little like faded, because I still want splits to be legible. I don't want them to become a mess. That's definitely like a high priority with like a live split layout, is have your live split layout be readable. That's a big thing. Try and make that shit readable. AKA contrast. Write that down. Big font at the top of your notebook. Contrast. That's the big thing that you always want. Who knows, maybe I'll actually change the font for my live split for the first time in like, I couldn't even tell you when the last time was I changed the font for my live split, because I've just used this exact same font for a long time. Because I just stumbled upon one that I like. And I've just stuck with it for like probably 6 or more years. It's been a very long time. Also, I haven't forgotten about like all the bushes in the middle ground here. Don't worry. I've just kind of like gotten carried away with doing the water down here, which is actually kind of turning out a little bit. Now like it's kind of like coming together a bit more. I'm like, okay. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of liking it. Cool illustration. It's not too distracting. Yeah. Which definitely, yeah, could come through by making like the illustration once it's like on live split, like, just give it like a black like overlay, maybe a gradient with, I don't know, but maybe I won't end up liking it and then I'll just stick to what I have. Who knows? Hard to say right now because I haven't done anything with that, so it's hard to know for sure what will even happen. I don't know. I just kind of want to switch things up, I guess, but I don't know if I will. I guess is the bottom line here. I don't know if I will, even though I'd like to. I don't know. Like, do y'all like it when people like split like background photos that are of a like very defined like subject, you know? I know the meme is like anime girl split background. Like, do y'all like those, or do y'all like kind of more tame things that are like kind of more of like a neutral, just kind of like not very distracting piece? I guess maybe because I took notice of how like on Justin's live split, for example, like he still uses like the illustration that I drew for him like a year ago or something whenever I did that. But the one I made for him that he uses for the background, he definitely like darkened it so it's not very noticeable. Or so it's not like distracting, so it doesn't like take away from like the readability of live split. Not a deciding factor. That's valid. That is valid, which I guess is a good thing. Not a deciding factor. That's definitely a good thing. Interview time. Good luck with painting. All right, Justin. Have fun with the interview. Don't forget to talk about your 3D printer, and I'm sure all will be good. But I'm sure you'll do good. No worries. You'll do good. Interview time. Interview time. Oh man. They should feel lucky they're interviewing a Twitch partner. Like he should be like, start the interview like yeah. Damn, you guys must be really fortunate that I applied for your job. I applied for this position because, you know, like, I'm a pretty coveted person as a Twitch partner, as you know. I'm sure it's probably what he'll say to them. Like, very likely that's what he'll say. Honestly, very good idea to make sure I don't get... I thought you'd have muted the stream already. Justin. If it turns out you don't want it, you realize midway through, it's like, I don't want this shit, actually. You're oh, okay. That's valid. That's valid. That is so valid. Another time Ebo was in here. I miss when Ebo was in here. We like Ebo. That design looks. Yeah, I think it being dimmed is probably like, for most things, probably pretty sufficient. But we'll just see. We'll see what the vibes are. See if I end up liking it or not. Yeah, I've never really taken like much time usually to like really put an effort to like get something going. To like, get something going that's interesting for the layout. I feel like I just like don't usually end up doing that usually. Like I'll just like I just stick to what I have and just don't usually modify it much. I feel like more often I see split fonts not being legible on its own. Yeah, I feel like with people, I mean, people in my following, like, you know, their splits are good and readable, but I feel like there's definitely, I mean, there's probably like a good amount of speedrunners out there that's, well, definitely a good amount of speedrunners out there that I've seen that just, yeah, do not have super legible fonts. And I try to like, because I think I have my live split font like bigger. It's like the font itself is a lot bigger than I think most people would usually have it. And like, I guess like I think like, oh, I want to try and like have it be like as easily readable as possible, even for like people on like mobile devices. I think that's something I try and like keep a mind out for. Are you telling me you don't like white font on a yellow background? God. And like I know like your average speedrunner, you know, it's not expected for them to be knowledgeable of graphic design stuff, but damn if I don't feel like, you know, like do people like I think people are probably generally better about it these days, I would hope, but like I don't know. To the people that just have completely illegible splits, I'm like, I don't know. Like, do they not have the thought like, this is kind of hard to read? Like, do they not think that? But maybe they have that thought and they're like, I don't know what to do about this. Like, they straight up like don't know like what the solution is. Me becoming a lot more hyper aware of like stuff like that. Especially as I was saying earlier, like when I'm drawing, when I'm doing like a more, well, I guess even when I'm not doing like a super painter thing in Clip Studio, even if it's like a cell shaded thing, I will usually these days put a fully black layer that's set to color overlay mode. Put it at the top, and then I'll like toggle that on and off like throughout my process of making the painting or just illustration, so I can see like the values come together. It's definitely really useful to be able to look at it and be like, oh, like I can see like these two objects have very similar values and one needs to become darker or lighter, or maybe one needs to become darker and the other needs to become lighter to even further push them apart to make better contrast. Yeah, it's a pretty good trick to like just be able to check the values of your painting. I think it's a pretty good one. Definitely something I like doing. I think it's really helpful, in my opinion. So I feel like if you're looking at a piece and you're like, why doesn't this pop? Or like, why doesn't this particular object look good? It's probably because the values aren't good. Like, that is very much likely the reason. Some of those pieces like actually coming together. I feel like this one was kind of like for a little bit, but it's like kind of getting there. Yeah, once again, like I've been doing like basically this entire painting with like hardly tilting my head. I've not really done too much of that. A lot of different layer types do. Yeah, there's definitely so many different layer styles where it's like usually the ones that like most people I think end up using is just like multiply, like overlay or screen. But like honestly, sometimes you don't even have to like necessarily know what like all the layer styles do. Sometimes you can just like take a layer style and just like or like, take like a color on a layer and just like scroll through the like layer styles and just see like what things turn up like just see how it looks. Like who knows, maybe you'll randomly come across someone's like, oh, ooh, that looks cool, let's do that. Because like it's kind of like it's usually like, oh, like these like the first three, like the top like couple of them, like those usually darken it, and then like there's like a group of like 5 after that. It's like, oh yeah, these usually brighten up the painting, and then there's like another group right after that where it's like, oh yeah, these ones kind of like make it more vibrant, and then after that it's just kind of like, I think the ones towards the bottom are kind of a little bit more like, okay. Use the multiply layer is definitely like mostly used for shadow purposes. I guess to help create like shadows that feel less muddy is usually the intent of the multiply layer. But also that could just like also like depend on like your workflow, like how you're even like going about using your layers and how you're like how you have your document set up and all that. Because right now in the current piece I'm using, like I usually try not to rely too much on the layer styles. Just with the way that I've been like working usually, I kind of prefer to not rely on them too much, which I don't know if that's like a bad take, but I don't know. I kind of like, it feels satisfying to be able to create the desired effect with my own technique and not rely on the layer style to auto do it for me. Now, sometimes there's instances where it's like, okay, I will use like a layer style like for whatever X thing, because it's like, okay, like to like change to make this effect even more prominent, like it'd be a lot more annoying to do, so I'll just use like a layer style overlay. But I guess like when I've been doing like more painting stuff, I've been trying to keep things to like as few layers as possible. And like just paint everything directly on instead of like, okay, for this thing to make this darker, I'm just gonna get the multiply layer and just airbrush a bunch of color in this section to make it darker. But like that being said, I will use that sometimes. I will do that like sparingly. But I do think, yeah, for the most part, I do like trying to recreate these effects, I guess, manually. It just seems like the way I draw in Clip Studio, it's like I almost like treat it like I'm drawing traditionally. I don't know. I guess it is meant to try and feel as similar to like traditional art as possible. So I guess that's a thing. Okay, let's get I think I've done enough. I've done enough fiddling. I don't know. Moral of the story is that I mean, you should just work how you want to. Whatever feels good. I think that's how you should do it. Whatever workflow suits yourself, I think that's what you should do. I think it's my workflow, yeah, is try to keep that as not as simple as possible. Because actually, at least like for this current piece, for the all masks illustration, for the main subject, the way that I have been doing it, because I'm not doing currently, maybe I'll end up deciding later on, like, oh, I actually do want this in there, but I'm not doing any like black, like line art layer or anything. I'm just doing like everything as just like a painter, like as like a painting look. So it's, yeah, no line art in this painting right now. And I started it where it's like each like different section was its own like flat color layer, and then I'm kind of like rendering them one by one individually, and then once I am like mostly done with that section I'm like starting to like merge layers together, so that way like the certain like just like transition like effects in between everything is easier to like just have it happen, because I don't know, I feel like the way my mind works with this digital painting process is I think it's easier to have, at the end of the day, easier to have everything on one layer to kind of make everything like blend together more properly and feel like it's like a painting and not just like as like if everything was like just copy and pasted in, I guess, almost. But having everything in their own layer to start with is much easier for like for the planning phase, to have everything like kind of cleaner at the start. I think that's a bit easier to have it that way. I don't know if any of that made any sense, but I'm just talking. I'm just saying whatever right now. I'm just going off. It really does all circle back around to just do what makes sense. Do what makes sense. Do what makes the most sense to you. And that's all you can do. Yeah, see right here, this is a moment of like, I kind of wish I had like a bit more, if the canvas extended more out to like, I guess, the sides right now, so it's a wider frame. It would be beneficial for this right now, because this like a little bit of like, I don't know, like this little bit like mossy little rock or something, whatever it is, in the water. Like I can't extend it out as much as it's supposed to. That's okay. That's okay. And we're just gonna Mario brush a bit. Actually, for that. And we're past the 1 hour mark, so I need to hurry up on this. I want to hurry up a little bit. I spent a while kind of like just like, you know, talking and going slow, which isn't bad. It always happens. It usually ends up happening where I'm just talking, going slow. So the paintings that end up being the quickest are the ones usually where I'm not talking as much. And, you know, maybe it could coincidentally be the fact that it's like, oh, like that one might be a, you know, a simpler painting potentially. But it's okay in the end. Yeah, this one's actually turning out not bad. Yeah. Yeah, same. My process is definitely probably forever, like always just changing and adjusting slightly. And hell, sometimes I go into a piece and being like, what kind of like art style do I want to do for this? Like, do I want to have it be like a rendered feeling with like a painter look? Or do I just like cell shade it? Because like sometimes like just having like a cell shade effect for like maybe like the focal points, like for, like the characters, I feel like it's sometimes easier. And sometimes it's like, I don't know, kind of chill. Because the process of fully like doing a painter like rendering for a character can be a pretty big task. Which is like so many like little details to do. I mean, hell, even for like a scene, even for like just like a background scene. Much like for the piece that I talked about earlier that I haven't posted anywhere, but it's been done for like a few weeks. That I could just post like whenever, if I felt like it. That I randomly did. Like that one. That one, the subject is all cell shaded. But the background is like, you know, it's all like painter like. Just interesting, because I feel like for background stuff, I feel like it's easier to do it in like a painter look than it is to do it in a cell shaded look. At least in my opinion, I feel like it's easier to do that way, in my opinion. I think something I also, you know, try once you start doing backgrounds, yeah. Backgrounds are such a daunting task. But hell, I feel like doing the joy of Mario paints, I feel like that has kind of like, you know, in some ways forced me. I mean, you know, I'm not like, I guess, coming up with these off the top of my head or anything, but like, watching Bob Ross and doing these, I think has probably actually helped me a decent bit. I think that's given me some good practice with background stuff. Yeah, as I've said before, like, when I'm doing a background, I will often just think to myself, like, okay, like, how would Bob Ross do this? Like, what would he do for this? In terms of, like, maybe just composition, or Just like color-wise, like what would he do in this situation that I'm in and whatever this scenario might be. And actually, hell, that was actually a pretty good help on the thing that I haven't posted yet. Which, that one is nothing too secretive. I didn't mention it. I haven't talked about it at all. It's just the fact that it wasn't based on anything. It just, like... I didn't have any, like, specific inspiration for it. I just, like, yeah, let my mind wander and just let things happen. I was like, okay, like, what can I, like, do for this? Mouse, you want to work? Thank you. Just kind of didn't feel like working there for a bit. Yeah, because like there was a faraway plane at one point in that piece, and I was like, what would Bob do with this? And then I realized like, oh, I should make it so like the bottom part of it has like that kind of like foggy, misty vibe to it, because that's what he would do. And then I did it. I'm like, okay, that looks a lot better. To make it really feel like it's far away in the background. All right. Let's get our, not the Mario brush. That'd be crazy. I'll use the Mario brush for this, and then we're just gonna use the brown to get like some get some dark going in, firstly. Definitely watching Bob Ross is definitely super helped me just even like think about just composition for a background, or like just for like a piece in general, because you know he'll often, you know, for his paintings it'll be like, ooh, it's like, you know, it's pretty done looking, but then he'll be like, ooh, let's like put this like this tree, you could fully omit this tree that's just like in the foreground here, but it just creates an extra layer of depth. Like this whole like front plane that I haven't put in yet fully, with like this like kind of like bit of grass or whatever it might be. Like he could have just done the water and not had this like little extra foreground chunk, but it just like adds so much more interest. And I feel like if you imagine this foreground, like a little bit of grass and the tree, like that whole like little area, I feel like if you like delete that in your mind, I feel like the piece feels like it's missing something. I feel like it really adds to the piece. It does a lot of help to the piece. So when I'm doing stuff, I think about that sort of thing. It's, you know, I guess depending how much effort like I want to put into the piece, like if I'm trying to make a high effort piece, it'll make me think about like, okay, like how can I really like push this? How can I really push this piece? Also, my two tree leaves are kind of touching, and that's okay. That is okay that they're touching, because while I guess I am trying to recreate this painting as a whole, it is not necessarily I am trying to be exactly one-to-one with everything, but so for stuff like this that happens where it's like, oh, those like these, it's not the same as Bob's, it's like, it's okay, it's fine. It is okay that they're touching. I was about to say, all right, I think we're almost done with this, and I realized, oh, I need to do this bottom plane of grassiness still, so we're almost there. Home stretch, though. We're basically there. Home stretch. So we'll take the orange. I haven't used the. Have I used the orange? Oh, for these background trees. I was like, I'm pretty sure I used the orange somewhere in this piece. Pretty sure, and I did. I did. Get those layers. Oh shit, congrats on the 10 stream streak. That doesn't show up on the chat overlay, does it? I don't think so. No, it doesn't. I was like, I'm pretty sure that doesn't show up on the chat overlay. Which I guess I wouldn't expect it to. You might be able to set it up to do that, but mine is definitely not set up to do that. Yeah, I agree, Frack, actually. Try and do that. Just like get those kind of like, I don't know, because there's kind of like these like rows going on here. You can see there's like a little bit of rows going on. I mean, it kind of becomes a bit more yellowish over here. Also, Prac, did you see last night that G gifted you something on Steam? I think you were probably asleep at that point, but you were gifted something. I don't know if you replied to him or not. I didn't check. Yeah. I don't know if you were actually wanting to play Repo or not. I think you were saying in my chat. I think you were like, "Oh, should I get Repo?" I think you were. When I got gifted, I was cleaning your house. Oh, that was like 1 in the morning, or something. You were cleaning like that late? Question mark. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you were cleaning that late. Okay. I think I am happy with where this is. I haven't looked in a while on OBS. Let's see, how's it looking on OBS? Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Actually, I think I do want to cover up a little bit of that. Okay, I think I like that. I like that more. Okay, there we go. That felt a little bare. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this vertical painting. First one in a while. And that's it.